Hey everybody, welcome to our YouTube Live Trending Thursday. My name is Glenn Tompkins, Senior Instructor here at VectorVest. Always love being here. My favorite day of the week is Thursday, specifically for Trending Thursday. And I'm glad that you all are here as well. If you can hear me, by all means, please let me know, preferably with VV Nation. Also today, I'd still want to chat a little bit more. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I'd like to know that. I'd like to see how far our reach for Trending Thursday is. I'd like to know where you guys are tuning in from. So not only do I want you to put VV Nation, but I want you to put either your state. Put your state. If you're in Canada, put your, what is it in Canada? Is it province? A Providence or province? Something like that. Let me know where you're coming from. All right. Sitting side saddle to me, Joey, who is my producer, always is here to make sure that I look good. It's a little job that you have to do.
It's a full-time job.
It's not a full-time job. It's not a full-time job.
It is a full-time.
Oh man, I don't say again. Somebody subbed already? Wow. Awesome. Thank you so much for subbing to the channel. I didn't even get to that yet. If you're brand new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and then hit the bell icon so that you'll be alerted when new videos come out along those lines. And we'd love to have you. But look at that. People tuning in from all over the place.
Yeah, all over.
All over. I'm loving that. I got people in Europe. Adrian is coming in from Europe. I wanted to see where the furthest place I can be. Furthest place somebody is here. I got Israel. No, somebody else is coming in from Israel. Wow, look at that. I'm loving that. Kobe is coming in from Israel. And we have Adrian in from the Netherlands, Ocean Shores, Washington. So there we go. I'm also streaming live on Facebook as well. Joey's getting that up for me so I can see what's going on the Facebook channel as well. So trying to get this out to everybody as best we can. If you're brand new, what do we do here on Trending Thursday? We talk about what's going on in the market. We talk about what stocks are moving in the market. These are stocks that you may know about or may not know about. These actually could be some gems, gems in the rough. What am I talking about?
Diamonds in the rough.
Diamonds in the rough. Man, I didn't take my Prevagen today. That's my problem. All right, but some diamonds in the rough, and some of the stocks you may be in that you may not think, you may think you need to be in, but you may not need to be. So I'm doing a couple of different things today. One, I'm going to have less news stories and more analysis. I want to do more analysis. I want to keep you guys interested in the analysis, because everybody can read news. So I'm going to still have some news stories, but I think Joey and I talked about it a little bit. I'm going to have less news stories and more analysis of stocks. All right, so Joey is helping me out again on the Facebook channel. All my people on YouTube, I see you rocking and rolling. And actually, I did a couple of things today as well. I was on our Instagram channel live. So I'm moving up in the world. Mm-hmm. I am moving up in the world, so. Oh, man, my board's not working. Oh, did you break it?
Probably.
All right, Joey broke my board. All right, so as Joey's starting to get a couple of things fixed up for me, let's go. Did it work now? Hold on. There we go. I got my board working. All right. I got happy because I'm happy. All right, so let's talk about what's going on from the perspective of the market. We always start off with what's going on in the market. I think it's important. We need to know what the Fed's doing because the Fed is definitely affecting what's going on in the market. So just to recap, we know that the debt ceiling just got fixed up a little bit until December. That's good for the market. The market is responding. We do know that they're going to start tapering by the end of this year. That's going to be bad for the market, but it's going to have to be done. All right. And then number three, when, not if, but when they start raising interest rates in the market, that's going to affect the market. So, but right now, the big news is that the debt ceiling has at least been looked at, and the in arguing in Congress, at least we have it taken out into December. Then a new chapter begins on how far they can continue to moving that up. All right, so let's get into my first story in regards to what's going on in the market, and this is it. House approves an extension of the debt ceiling into December. After December, though, the circus continues on again, all right? I call it a circus because it's and everybody wants to do what they want to do, and they want to blah, 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 blah. What does it mean for the investor? It means that we ain't going to run out of money just quite yet, and that's good for the market. All right, so they approved up until December. Next thing, let's talk about inflation. And I think that for the first time, the Fed is even walking back from the transitory statement. You know how I have been feeling in regards to inflation? It's an issue. Prices are going up. That's an issue. That's going to affect the way businesses can do business because the cost of goods go higher. So finally, they're backing up and they're saying that inflation may be around for a little longer than anticipated. But accelerating inflation spreads through the economy. Higher inflation weighs on the Fed policy. Ta-da! So they've been saying that, oh, it's okay. And, I understand why they say that, because they don't want a whole bunch of rushing around and people getting all scared and da-da-da. So they're doing that the right way, but inflation is an issue. It weighs heavy on the Fed policy. It starts to have a broader impact on the cost of living, wages, social benefit programs. I just saw a story. Social Security is going up 5.9%, the biggest raise in Social Security since forever. So that's because inflation is an issue. It's gonna affect things down the line. Social benefit programs, as far as not unemployment, but Social Security is going to rise 5.9%. That's big. Now, I got more inflation. Post-COVID, global economy falters due to inflation and supply chain woes. So everybody's got the demand, but you got a big chip shortage, and that's affecting a lot in regards to the supply chains. It's amazing how a little chip could affect cars, could affect electronics, and and it's affecting globally. So a stream of new data suggests a third quarter slowdown as manufacturers struggle to get materials and components. In order to sell your product, you got to have the stuff to sell the product. And if there's a shortage of it, whether it's chips or whether it's any other thing out there that's lacking, it's going to affect the economies, not only here in the United States, but globally, and that's what this story says. So that's what's behind the scenes in the market. Let's get into our software. Starting from the home page, we can see, again, with the news of the debt ceiling, out of over 9,000 stocks, we got about 68% of the stocks in our database going up compared to 23 going down. Almost 3-1. 23... Yeah, almost 3-1 advances to decliners. So it's a good day in the market. It's a good day to be long in the market. All of the major indices are up by excess of 1%. Good day. Now, you can, before you stand up and say happy days are here again, just think. All it takes is for one bad piece of news to come out and people invest emotionally, over adjust, and the market could go down tomorrow. But as of right now, a couple of things are happening. Our slowest, most conservative timing call, the confirmed call, right now flashing an up. Primary wave is up. The DEW, for those of you who are not subscribers to the software, those are 3 of our most popular timing signals. Actually, right now are all up, so it's a good time to be in the market. Let me start off by looking at what's going on in the indicators that I use for timing the market. I'm going to go to our viewers tab real quick, and I'm going to go to our watch list viewer. Let's go to our trending Thursday, and let's go find today's list. Today is 10/14/21. I got a lot of stocks to look at today, but that's all right. I told you I'm going to do more analysis and less news. So as I look at the stocks, I've got 17 stocks that we're looking at today, sorted by our master indicator VST. So the stocks that have the best combination of value, safety, and timing will automatically vault, not just run, but vault, catapult to the top of the list, and the ones that have the worst will be at the bottom. Now, before I go on, I want, again, some interaction here. How many of you think that the market is set for continued upward movement, at least to the end of the year? How many of you think that the market will go up more than it will go down going into the end of the year? Type a 1 in the room. All right. How many of you think that the market is going to go up more than it goes down, or having a stronger market going into the end of the year? Type a 1 in the room. Now, I understand that it may go down. The question is, for the end and going into the end of the year, how many of you feel that the market, for the most part, will go up? I'm very curious to know. A lot of optimism in the room. I like that. A lot of optimism in the room. Now, we have to temper that with realism. And I think that the real part of it is still going to be earnings. Brand new into the earnings season, coming into the fourth quarter for earnings seasons, companies are still knocking it out the park. More companies are beating earnings than companies not beating earnings. So what is the engine that drives the stock's price or the market higher? Earnings. So earnings, as long as earnings are good this quarter, we're still going to be bullish. And I think that that's a good perspective in regards to going into the end of the year. Chris says, not a chance. Interesting. So not everybody's going to agree. That's the reason why I asked the question in the forum, because I'm just curious to know what you feel. All right. So with that, let's go take a look at the two indicators that I use for timing the market. The VectorVest composite, for those of you who are subscribers to the VectorVest software. The VVC looks at the movement of over 9,000 stocks. For those of you who are not subscribers to the software, let's go look at the benchmark that most people look at, which is the S&P 500. Let's take a look at their graphs. So again, given the news of the debt ceiling rise, look at the VectorVest composite on the news. We bounced up, we shot up, or we gapped up this morning. Nice open candle. All right, I'm looking at 3 and 8 exponential moving averages. Not only did we have a good up candle today with very little wick, we broke through a level of resistance on our composite at $67.25. And look at the volume. The volume has been pretty steady over the last few days. So not only are we moving up, we're doing so on good volume. RT is still below the value of 1. So the market is not considered to be in an uptrend yet, but I got a little bit of a hammer formation. Yes, I think that's a hammer formation. As the market is moving higher, I like the move. This is a good entry from the standpoint of new into the earnings space right now for this quarter. Nice up move. Again, we don't know what can happen tomorrow, but nice move to the upside today. On the S&P 500, same kind of scenario, bouncing off a level of support sitting at 426.45, moving higher, breaking through a couple of levels of resistance. Nice open candle, very little wick at the top. Volume is a little lighter than I would like to see as compared to the last few days, but nonetheless, nice open candle, very little wick at the top. Not a lot of selling pressure. Sunil says, up till November, then down due to the debt ceiling worries. So going into December, you've got a couple of things going on. I'm going to agree with Sunil to a certain degree. You've got the debt ceiling crisis coming back in December. And what else is going to be going on? The Fed is going to start cutting back on bonds. So they're going to be tapering on bonds. But I think that going into the end of the year, Sunil, I think that we're still going to have a good, strong quarter, especially dealing with earnings and what's going on. I think that we're still going to have a good, strong rest of the year. It's going to be very interesting watching what happens at the beginning of next year. All right, how to know if the market will go up or down? I'm looking at just what I can see. I am giving some insight. I'm not predicting. I'm giving insight as to what could possibly go, but it could go either way. It could definitely go either way. I still think that going into next year is going to be very interesting at the beginning of next year. When all of this comes to a head, we'll see what the market really wants to do. All right. Before I get into my next story, you still didn't have me on Facebook? No? All right. Before I get... Okay. Before we get into my next story, does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have any questions on my market stories? All right. Anybody have any questions on my, and I like that. Drew is right. If you're a VectorVest subscriber, watch the color guard. We will keep you up to date every single day on what's going on in the market, every single day. And that's one of the benefits of being a VectorVest subscriber. So if you're not a subscriber to the software, this is the only selling that I'm going to do. If you're not a VectorVest subscriber to the software, what I would want you to do, and we have specials just for you guys here on YouTube and on Facebook if you want it as well. You can subscribe to the VectorVest system for 99 cents for 30 days. 99 cents for 30 days, and you will get updated information every single day on how to look at what's going on in the market. All right. If there's no questions on my news stories for the market, we're going to get into my next story. All right. So now oil is big. Oil is big. How many of you have oil plays? Type of me in the market. How many of you are playing oil? Oil is on the move right now. We're going to talk a little bit more about why oil is on the move right now. But how many of you are playing oil plays right now as that industry is starting to rock and roll? Just to let you know, in our VectorVest system, oil is the fastest sector in the VectorVest system right now. The fastest sector. That's big. And I can get that information with the click of a mouse in the VectorVest software by going to our viewers and going to our industry or sector viewers to see what the fastest moving industries or sectors are at any point in time in the day. So right now, oil is the fastest moving sector. So if you're not playing the space, you need to think about it. Now let's talk about why oil is going up. So when oil prices were so nicely down, when you know me, I do drive a Ford Excursion 40-gallon tank. When oil prices were down, my truck was loving me. Now that oil prices are up as much as they are right now, it sucks to have to fill up 40 gallons when you're paying almost $3 a gallon for regular gas. So why is that happening? Why is oil up so much? Because our oversupply that we had is dwindled down to just about nothing. The demand hasn't decreased, but the supply has. So when that happens, it's all about supply and demand, right? If the supply is not there and the demand is, it's going to drive that commodities price higher. Now, this story talks about the Middle East oil producers set for $165 billion current account surpluses. The Middle East is making a ton of money off of the oil, and they're being a little bit stingy about how much oil they're releasing out to the global economy for to get the oil. And right now, they can hold us hostage. And I'm not trying to spread no bad ill will against the Middle East, but they hold the reins on how much oil they put out as far as production to offset what the demand is. Couple that with we're getting into the colder season right now. The demand is going to increase, and if the supplies are not there, it's going to drive oil prices even higher. It's going to drive them even higher. So with that being said, folks, oil could be a good play in the market, even though it may be a sucky play in your pocket. Now, crude oil prices, there we go. Oil spike to fresh multi-year peaks. This is London World prices vaulted Monday to a fresh multi-year pinnacles on strong demand and tight supplies. That's exactly what I just said about the supply and demand, fueling inflation worries and weighing on most European stock markets as well as our markets as well. In London, Brent oil jumped to a 3-year high to $84 per barrel. I'm thinking that in some part or whatever, I'm thinking, not to be the bringer of doom and gloom, I think we're going to get back to $100 a barrel of oil in the not so far future. That's what I think. And I don't think you're going to be able to offset that as America unless we increase the drilling or fracking or any, all of the things that put us in a good spot as far as supply. Unless you change that, then we're going to eventually end up paying about $100 per gallon or per barrel. Does anybody disagree with that? Better yet, do you agree with that? How about we say that? Do you agree with we could be up over $100 per barrel? I'm just curious to know. All I'm doing is presenting you the information. The information is real. I'm wondering if your perceptions are the same thing. Now, gold, I'm going to get into that in a moment, Tommy, because as we get into that, what moves gold? The dollar. I'm going to definitely get into that in this presentation today. I think that's another thing that we got to talk about. All right, so a lot of people are agreeing $100 plus, just hoping not. It's already expensive, says Zolt. I agree with you, but I don't think you're going to be able to overcome that. Which oil stocks are good to buy? We're going to get to that as well. But as a matter of fact, let's get into that right now. So as I mentioned, that oil stocks are the fastest, or oil is the fastest moving sector that we have I've got some stocks to take a look at. So good call there, Sunil. I got some stocks to take a look at. Cheniere, LNG is going to be one stock that we're going to look at. What else is in here? Oil, USO, BNO. What else do I have in here? Valero, where's that at? VLO. Here's my 5 stocks in this space. Now, a couple of them are ETFs. BNO and USO are ETFs, but my other 2, Valero and LNG, are actually stocks to keep your eyes on. And what I'm looking at in this space, outside of the ETFs, are the safest or safer stocks in that space. Thank you, Joey. Joey's got my chat up for YouTube. All right. For Facebook. I'm sorry. I got it. I keep doing that. Thank you. So now I can see the chat on Facebook. I appreciate that. Keep on talking. Why isn't URA on the list? Because I'm looking at it in a different list. URA is not an oil stock. URA, I believe, is a uranium stock. 2 different stocks. A shock. But that's a different. That's not one of the stocks that I'm looking for. It's a uranium ETF. We're talking about oil right now. All right. We're talking about oil right now. So here's my stocks. Talking about picks in the space. I like LNG. I like Valero, but these 2 are ETFs. You know, I love putting you into ETFs as a safer play to play the whole space instead of trying to find one specific stock. LNG. Boom. What do you need to know about that? Look at that. It looks like it's taking off like an airplane. Bottom left, top right. The industry is moving. The stock is moving. I'd like to see more volume on it, but I love the RT. The stock's relative 2 moving averages. The 3 and the 8 crossed here on 9/22, and ever since then, the stock has been moving higher and higher. Even on the pullbacks, the 3 and the 8 exponential moving averages have looked stout. All right. Oh, did I not put XOM up here? Did I miss that? There it is. I missed XOM. All right. Thank you. Thank you for that. You guys are awesome. Thank you for that. All right. So we just looked at linear. Let's go to the next one, BNO. This is an ETF on Brent oil. Space is hot again. This is an ETF to play the whole space instead of having to find an individual stock. Right now at a level of resistance sitting at 22.22. Would like to see it break above that. Nice move from volume from yesterday. The stock's price is definitely, or the volume is definitely moving higher. RT looks good, but stalling out right now, but definitely moving higher. Next one, this is not on Brent, but on oil itself. New high over the last 3 months today. The 3 and the 8 are still looking good. Relative timing looking good. Volume is steadying out right now. Now, Valero Energy in this space. It's got a relative safety at 1.08. So altogether, it's a good safe stock with good upside potential with relative value above 1. Stock is 3 days off of the most recent high over the last 3 months. Definitely moving higher. RT is telling me the momentum on the stock or the upward trend is increasing. This is a good stock in that space. The next stock we're going to look at is ExxonMobil. Thank you guys for pointing out it was in my list, but I didn't pull it up. Interesting. Joey didn't help me with that either. Thank you, Joey. And Joey's looking like, what are you talking about, bro? Yeah. What are you talking about? Sounds like a you problem. It is a me problem. All right. I like that. Look at the stock's pullbacks and look at the 3 and the 8 still keeping you in from the short-term perspective. Watch volume, though. Now, as I watch volume fall, that may not be altogether something that doesn't make sense. The stock is also leveling out. The stock looks like it wants to trend sideways or consolidate for a little bit. So I'm okay with volume falling down on it for that from that perspective, but would love to see it break above that level of 62.88 on the level of resistance. So those are my stocks. I've got you a couple of good picks in there. Looking at Valero, I really like LNG. LNG looks good. Relative safety at 1.25. Not only that, it's got the best combination of value, safety, and timing, even as a petroleum stock. I like that play. I like the Valero play. Exxon, I need it to get out of that level of consolidation. But if I like playing the whole space without honing into any individual stock, I like BNO and I like USO. So just keep that in mind. Anybody got any questions on my oil stocks. It is a hot space. I don't want you to miss out on it. And if you're still leery about any individual stock, I like the BNO and USO to play the whole space. Someone just subscribed to the channel. Dan, thank you for that. I do appreciate that. Anybody who does subscribe, your name will pop up to say that we personally thank you for subscribing to the channel. Or actually, was that a subscription to the channel? That was a subscription to the channel. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. We're trying to grow, right, Joey? We are. I'm trying to grow like my belly because I eat a lot of food, but I like that. I'm trying to get, if we can grow as fast as my belly is growing, woo-wee, we'll be on something right there. Ooh-wee. All right, any questions? Any questions in regards to my oil stories today before I move on to my next story? All right. I'm going to get to the story, get to my next story. If you like what you're seeing right now, if you like the content, especially if you're new, hit the like button, folks. Get the likes up so that the algorithm can get us out there. I want people to see what we're doing, especially if you enjoy it. Share it. Share the love with other people. Hit the like button, folks. Hit the like button, especially also if you feel that this is something that you could personally use right now. Something you can personally use right now. How do I see the live on my VectorVest on my PC? That's a good question. You answering that? No, what was the question? The question is, how do I see the live, this live on my VectorVest on my PC? You don't see it in VectorVest. You're seeing it on the YouTube channel. So you don't see it live in VectorVest. You see it live from YouTube. I'm hoping I'm answering your question the right way. Do you expect the SPX to bounce back down after touching the 50-day moving average from below? I don't know. And right now, I am not a fan of trying to guess at where the market is going to go if I can help it. I'd rather you learn to take what the market gives you. I really want to push that from that perspective. Take what the market gives you. Don't try to outguess the market. All right? Because every time you do a shock, you end up getting, the market will shut you down in a heartbeat. All right, so just keep that in mind. Is Gush still good? Roy, that's another stock that I would look at in this space, would be Gush. Just like I like USO and I like BNO, that's another ETF that I would look at, but it's a 3-time triple leverage ETF. Just be careful with it. But Gush is another good play, Roy. All right, let's go into my next story. Bank stocks. Woo, yeah. So a lot of people realize that as the Fed raises interest rates, that might be good for bank stocks. Steve Chappell and I had a conversation about this a couple of days ago, and he thinks that, it may not be as big as everybody thinks it is. Well, I think that when you look at investing in the stock market, it's a battle between interest yields, bond yields. All right, where are you going to get your money? Where are you going to get money at? Are you going to get it on interest rates in the bank or not? So my opinion on that in regards to banks, that as the interest rates do increase, people will start taking their money out of the market and putting it into one of two things: bonds, because bond yields will go up, or putting it back in the bank where they're going to get interest on the money just sitting there. So I think that banks will have a positive side to it. Will it just make the banks go ballistically crazy? I don't know. But when we're starting to talk about banks, one of the biggest banks out there, JP Morgan, early in the earnings season right now, we're going to talk about some earnings stocks, but early in the earnings seasons right now, JP Morgan They beat on both earnings and they beat on revenues. So banks are going to be growing, and I think that once we start looking at the banks start to beat earnings in the beginning of this quarter and in the beginning of this earnings season, that's going to start to set the bar going into the end of the year. All right, so JP Morgan beats their quarter 3 expectations. That's the only story that I'm looking at in regards to banks, but I've got some bank stocks to look at. All right, so we're going to look at JP Morgan. Where's my JPM? Joey, where is JPM? Sigh. Did I not put them in here?
Probably not.
Oh, my goodness.
You're so slacking.
I am slacking.
Hey, you weren't late on that lunch, though.
I wasn't late on that lunch. All right, so let me put the stocks in. Here's 4 stocks I want to look at. JP Morgan, and there's 3 other bank stocks I want to look at. SIVB, comma, Regions, comma, and Fifth Third, FITB. All right, let's go take a look at my bank stocks. First off, let's see where they sit in my list. All right, first off, let's go see where they sit in my list. Wow, SVB Financial Group, a bank, at the top of the list. Regions, number 4 on the list. Fifth Third towards the top, and JP Morgan. All of my bank stocks in my list of now 21 stocks are towards the top third of the list. If that doesn't give you pause to think that bank stocks are on the move, I don't know what else will. But these 5 stocks out of the 21 are on the top third of the list, sorted by our master indicator VST. So all of them have a VST of at least 1.3 on that scale between 0 and 2. That's a good notation of knowing that these stocks are on the move. Now, let me tell you something. From this perspective, bank stocks are the second fastest mover in our sectors. So oil was number 1, bank stocks are number 2. Now you know why they're here on Trending Thursday. Let's go take a look at their graphs real quick. All right, so JP Morgan beat earnings, but how about SVB Financial, multi-regional bank? Look at that equity curve. Bottom left, moving up. I've got a level 3 days off of the high of $692.21. RT is moving higher. Watch volume. I'd like to see volume pick up on a stock like this. But look at that. On this, even on this most recent pullback, the 3 and the 8 did a good job of keeping you in, keeping you from panicking. Using some semblance of moving averages is a great way to keep you from getting spooked out of a stock. What do you think of HLI at the top of the list? Nice 10-year graph. HLI wasn't on the top of the list, but we'll keep our eye on that stock. That's not one of my stocks that I'm looking at today. Regional Bank ETRF KRE is good. That's another stock to keep your eyes on. Remember, there's a lot of bank stocks out there. What I'm looking at from this perspective is from the sector, which stocks in this sector, in this banking sector, looked really good to give you keep some eyes on. All right, next one. I got Regions. Now, Regions is leveling out a little bit of a channel. There it is, a bona fide channel, sitting between 2241 as a level of resistance and 2122. It's a small channel, but even in the channel, 3 days off of the high of 2238, stock price 3 and 8 still look good, still rising. I like it. Watch RT. Volume has been pretty steady. For the past couple of days before today, volume was at or above average volume. So not only is the stock trending sideways, but it's doing so in good volume. All right, let's go to the next stock. Now, Fifth Third pulling back. Look at that. So Fifth Third's earnings hasn't come out on Fifth Third yet. They should be coming out shortly. Fifth Third pulled back, 3 and 8 failed, found a level of support before this level of support, trying to bounce back up today. A little bit of indecision on it today, a little bit of indecision. Have a good day, Tommy. All right, I'd wait on that one. JP Morgan, earnings play. So earnings hit, nice rebound day after yesterday, but I want you to keep in mind, as a stock to get into right now, the 3 and 8 are still negative. I'm not feeling JP Morgan as an entry point right now. I'd like to look at a stock, especially like SIVB. Nice 3-8, still in effect, open candle. I like our Regions, even though it's in a channel, it's heading towards the top of the channel, FITB, and then JP Morgan. It looks like SIVB is the bank stock right now that I would keep my eye on as far as an investment. All right. Are any of you in any of these bank stocks? Type of 2 in the room. Are any of you in any of these bank stocks? Type of 2 in the room. All right. And then I'm going to ask another question. Was this brand new news to you that the banking stocks were up as much as they are? Type of 3 in the room. Was this new news to you that the banking stocks were as hot as they are right now? Type of 3 in the room. All right, so a 2 or a 3, just curious to know. All right, again, I wanna talk to you guys. I love for you guys to chat back to me. Because I know you're listening and I know you're awake. I want you to be awake. So I'm drinking my Cafe Bustelo in my Starbucks cup. I love my Starbucks stainless steel cup. Stocks to take a look at. We're going to wait until the end of the session just to let you know. I'm only going to say that once. Joey says, you say that so much. And I look at Joey and I go,
Say it like this.
that's exactly what
Say it like
you say, just like that. Yeah. All right. Yes, regional banks, ET. I know he said about KRE, 3PN. PNC is another good bank and a good ETF for this space. I do like a shock is FAS. That's a good play, a good way. Either FAS or FAZ is a good way to play the whole space without having to hone in on any particular stock. All right. If there's no more questions, I'm going to move on to my next story. Let's go see what my next story is. All right. Ooh, how many of you, this is good. How many of you right now know that uranium stocks are the third fastest industry by 10-day RT Delta? How many of you are playing uranium stocks? Type the number 4. How many of you right now are playing uranium stocks? Folks, this is an industry that is moving hot and heavy. Now, uranium, when it moves, it makes money. When it doesn't, you lose money. Uranium is hot right now. If you're not playing uranium stocks, it's something that you should consider. Just consider. I can't tell you to go buy anything. But CCJ and URA is on that list because those are good stocks. Now, here's a story that does show me some correlation why uranium stocks are moving up right now. Terrestrial Energy and Cameco to examine partnerships for deploying IMSR generation for nuclear power plants. So uranium and nuclear power, I think that is becoming another big move or something going towards nuclear energy right now. Uranium plays a role in that. So I'm thinking that if that's the case and uranium is on the move, this is something that you definitely have to keep your eyes on. You just keep your eyes on it. All right, so Cameco is my stock of choice in this space. And then I also like URA, which takes a look at the whole space. Play uranium through ETFs. I'm only going to look at one of them today, which is URA. How about there's a Canadian ETF for it? Thank you for that, Mohammed. There is a Canadian ETF for uranium called HURA. All right, let me get into those stocks real quick. So I like the plays. How about this? Where's CCJ in the top third of the list? Where's URA? Top third of the list. Here's another uranium stock, UEC. How many more do I have? URA, DNN, Dennis. Where's Dennis? There it is, Denison Mines. I've got 4 stocks. Actually, I've got 3 stocks to pay attention to along with 1 ETF. Let's go take a look at them. So the news is there talking about partnerships with uranium and nuclear power plants, and I think that could be a big mover of uranium stocks. Now, as I look at CCJ, I was moving up prior nicely, and this happens all the time, Joey. 2 days before we do Trending Thursday, uranium's rocking. We look at it on Trending Thursday today, and it's like this. So it's a down day today. I'm not saying that it's a bad play. I wouldn't buy a stock, even if I like it, on a down day. You want to always make sure that the stock is moving higher before you buy it. I like the stock that it's moving up and it's doing so on good volume. All right. Today is a down day. Notice the volume is not as big today on the down day, which means that there's not a ton of selling on it. There was a ton of buying on it 2 days ago. Not a ton of selling. That's a good positive sign. That's a good positive sign as I look at that. But man, oh man, I'm loving this space. I would wait on this one though.
Austin said it's camera shy.
It's camera shy. Is that what it is? URA. Here's the ETF for the whole space. If you don't want to hone in on one individual stock, I like the play. I love ETFs, folks, and I love giving you ETFs to play a whole space without having to subject yourself to hit or miss on any individual stocks. But URA today, there was another one, URNM. URNM. That's another good ETF to play. But as I look at it, today is a down day. Nice 2 up days in a row. A little bit of a down day today. Just be careful with it. Again, I'm not going to buy it on the down day. And then here's the other one, mining uranium, UEC. I like this play as well. I would really like to see it take out this level of resistance of 358. It did it yesterday, and then it came back down. A little bit of a spinning top pattern. I've got a bearish engulfing pattern going on right here. Just be careful with it. I still think that the space is good. This is a down day for uranium today. And then Denison Mines, another stock that I like in the space. A little bit of, not even a dark cloud cover, but a bearish day. It's got a good level of resistance sitting at the value of $1.80. I'd like to see this stock take out that level of resistance. And when it does, its stock's got some good upside potential. So even as I talk about it as a hot industry, today is a down day for it, but don't fret. One day doesn't make a trend. One day doesn't make a trend. The 3 and the 8s are all still positive on those stocks. Tom says, I believe there's a lot of new plants starting up, especially in China, where they need to get away from coal. I think a startup plant you need initially to start with a 3-year supply. There you go. China. China is a big player in everything. Why? Because they got more people than we got people. Okay. They got more people than we got people. And if they're looking, and this is huge, if they're looking at building from new or from scratch, new nuclear power plants, uranium is going to rock and roll. Thank you for that, Tom. Thank you for that, Tom. All right, so you said they got more dogs and cats. They probably got more dogs and cats than we got, you think? So keep your eye on the uranium play, folks. Keep your eye on the uranium play. That correlation between uranium and nuclear power plants, especially if China's looking at trying to do so, I like that. What is your name so I can find you on YouTube Live? We're on YouTube Live. What is
it? He's there.
He's there. Okay. All right. Any other questions on the uranium story?
Tell me the subscribe button.
Hit the subscribe button. Joey says hit that subscribe button, especially if you're liking what you see right here. That way, and then hit the bell icon so that you can be alerted when new stuff comes out, folks. Hit that subscribe button. Subscribe. All right. Let's get to my next story. My next story. Go back over to the web. What's my next story? My next story is about my stocks of interest. Woo! All right. How many of you have been seeing Tata move? Joey's face is like, oh, what did you say? Bruh. How many of you have seen Tata move? All right. How many of you are playing Tata? Man, I just hate saying that.
Say Tata Motors.
All right. How many of you have seen Tata Motors move or playing it? I'm actually thinking about playing it. I haven't played it yet. The stock is up. This was Wednesday. It was up 6.28%. Tata is on the move. That's why it's one of my stocks of interest. Stocks of interest are stocks that I like, that I see, that I want you to keep your eyes on. All right. So just keep that in mind. Tata Motors is rocking and rolling. That's one of my stocks of interest. I got another one. How many of you have been looking at gold move? All right, type of one in the room. How many of you have seen gold starting to move right now and getting a little antsy about gold? How many of you are like, whoa, licking your chops when it comes down to gold? How many of you are licking your chops over gold, baby? Put a 1 in the room. I know I'm probably going to see a lot of 1s in the room. How many of you are waiting, anticipating? You remember the commercial? Johnny on Facebook is saying 1. How many of you remember the Heinz 57 commercial? Anticipation is making me wait. It's slow good. How many people did I just take back in time? I love old TV commercials. How many of you remember that commercial? That was an old commercial. But I see a lot of people in the room, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on YouTube, you're antsy about getting into gold. And one of the things that we do in our daily color guard reports every Monday is we time gold for you to let you know if it's the right time to be in gold or not. All right, but TGB is on the rise. I had this up here for a second. Why did I have this up here? Joey, why did you make me put this up? Oh, because it was about TGB. All right, and it was just a story on TGB. All right, and I got one other stock in the same space, Largo Resources in the mining space to keep your eyes on as well. So I've got 2 mining stocks, but before we do anything, I want to talk to you why I wanted to look at mining. What moves gold? The dollar. All right, when the dollar is low, gold starts to move. So before I look at I'm going to look at them all. There's TGB. What else am I looking at? I was looking at Tata Motors. Where's Tata Motors? At the top of the list, towards the top of the list. That's a good stock. TGB, LGO. Where's LGO? LGO, TGB. I got that highlighted. How many stocks was it? 1, 2. Oh, another stock. Another stock, no news, mRNA. I'll tell you why I like mRNA. That's one of my stocks of interest as well. Let's highlight these. These are my stocks of interest. Oh, man, Glenn, why did you do that?
Glenn.
Oh, whatever. mRNA, TGB, LGO, and the dollar. All right. Right click. Let's view the stock graph. Let's go take a look. Tata Motors. Look at it go. I got to switch. Thank you. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it go. A little bit of a rebound day today. Open candle, which means the stock's price fell this morning. But look at that rebound and look at that volume. Not only is Tata Motors moving up, folks, it's doing so in big volume. It's got good upside potential. Relative value tells me that this stock should outperform a AAA corporate bond by 39% over the next 1 to 3 years. The safety is not quite where I want it to be, but I'm willing to give up a little safety on a stock that's got good upside potential. Love the graph. Tata Motors is something to keep in mind if you're not already trading it. Moderna. Why is Moderna one of my stocks? Well, you all know that Moderna is my favorite stock in the COVID space. Right? One of my favorite stocks in the COVID space. It's setting up right now. Look at that pullback. Look at this level of support that it found. All right, right here. The 3 and the 8 failed. Look at the level it set up. I'm watching this. If you've never traded Moderna's got a great opportunity over, and look at that, to make you some money. Right now it's setting up. So it's one of my stocks of interest because of the setup on the graph. I wouldn't buy, though, until on an end-of-day graph, the 3 crosses above the 8 or whatever moving averages you use. All right, RT is starting to rise. I'm bringing this out as a stock of interest because of the setup. All right, and let's go to my next stock on the list, TGB, mining. Oh, just look at the volume on the mining over the last 3 days. RT is moving higher. The stock gapped up today but pulled back. A little bit of profit taking on TGB right now, but the stock's price is moving up. And I'm going to get to still what's going on with the dollar. LGO, nice setup as well. 3 and the 8 just crossed 2 days ago. Stock's got great upside to the value of about $17. It's got a good upside to the level of $17. If mining's about to take off, this is a good level to buy low. Today's a little bit of indecision day. I'd wait. I'd make sure that I buy on an up day. And the last one, this is big. Why did gold start moving up yesterday? Dollar fell. Dollar fell bigly on the candle-wise. Look at that big candle. The 3 and the 8 failed. A little bit of a rebound day, but on an end-of-day basis, the 3 and the 8 doesn't look like it's really going to cross back up. Keep your eyes on this. When the dollar falls, and I'm using the UUP as the dollar, when the dollar falls, gold tends to go up. When the dollar goes up, gold tends to fall. So we're watching the graphs that gold is looking like it's getting ready to bounce up. The dollar is backing that up. So I'm just putting those 2 things together for you to keep your eyes on it. Gold could be ready to move. Let it come to you. Let the industry come to you. I'm just looking at some things in regards to that. All right. Anybody got any questions on my stocks of interest? Anybody got any questions on my stocks of interest? All right. If you don't, I'm going to set up for my next story. And my next story doesn't have any news. My next story is strictly dealing with earnings, especially because we're brand new into the earnings space right now. I got some popular stocks that are out there that hit or missed earnings. So as I look at this, where's my other little piece of paper that I had? Man, I threw it away. All right. BlackRock. did both. They beat earnings and they beat revenues. Morgan Stanley, bank stock, beat earnings and beat revenues. Taiwan Semi, I think beat earnings, but did not beat revenues. I had that on a piece of paper on which ones did. I don't think that they beat revenues, but they beat earnings. Even with the chip shortage, they still beat earnings. Citigroup beat earnings and revenue, nicely moving up today. Notice that the stocks that did beat earnings or revenue this week are nicely up today. Wells Fargo, on the other hand, is a bank stock. Beat earnings and beat earnings and revenue, but they're down today. Delta, believe it or not, beat earnings. I don't think they beat revenues, but they beat earnings and they're up today. Glenn, I'm confused because if rates go up, shouldn't the dollar go up and gold go down? No. If interest rates go up, the dollar should go down. Somebody back me up on that. I'm not an economist. But if the interest rates go up, does the dollar go up or go down? And from a gold perspective, the correlation is if the dollar is up, gold is down. People run to the safety of gold when the dollar goes down, all right? When the dollar goes down. So not ready to jump on gold stocks like EGO. Stephanie, I'm just going to wait. All right? I like them. I'm putting them on your radar, but let's go see what happens with the correlation between the dollar and gold. But gold is starting to move. I wanted to bring it to your attention because it is moving, but I want you to be careful. Does that make sense, Stephanie? Let it come to you. All right? The gold is moving. I didn't want it, is it a passing by thing right now, or is the dollar really moving down? So much money to be made in GTLB today. Well, we'll take a look at that. All right, any other questions? Any other questions on my earnings? And I think I'm going to keep doing this for the next few weeks while earnings are still fresh in the beginning stages of the earnings season. I think I want to keep you guys on top of what stocks are hitting or missing earnings. All right? So that was in a watch list, and every week I'm going to put new stocks that had earnings reports for the week. Interest rates and gold are tied together. So if interest rates go up, you're saying that gold. If that's the case, if interest rates and gold go up, that means the dollar's going down. So if interest rates go up, the dollar goes down. Interest rates go up, the dollar goes down. Are we starting to see people hedge the dollar to Bitcoin more so than gold as of late? George, I put out in the community on YouTube, I put out a poll and asked people, do you think that Bitcoin is actually a major player in the market or still not ready for prime time? Most people think that Bitcoin is a prime mover and player in the market as of right now. So with that being said, are people hedging more with Bitcoin? I don't think that that's happening yet. I personally don't think so. Is Bitcoin becoming more prevalent in the market? Yes, it is. More companies are getting into Bitcoin. I'm seeing states in retirement funds getting into Bitcoin to cover the money that they have out there for retirement people. So I'm thinking that yes, it's becoming more prevalent in the market. Are they using Bitcoin as an overall hedge yet? I don't think it's at that level yet, George. But again, that's my opinion. That's my insight. All right. Unless you find something, you do your own due diligence and you find something to the contrary, then fine. I just personally don't think so. So Raj says the dollar goes up when interest goes up. You know what I'm going to do? I think I might have to put out a video, a 6 p.m. video on YouTube in regards to that. I might have to think about that, George. Again, I am not an economist. I am not an economist, and I never claim to be, but I have the power of utilizing the VectorVest system to help me, help you guys make decisions. So I'm going to have to look into that. I'm definitely going to have to look into that, all right? Because I never want to come on here and talk out my butt, because that's not good. I always want to try to make sure I can hold a good conversation with you, but I'm never afraid. I'm never as afraid to say that I may not know something and I might want to look it up. All right? Bitcoin did disappear overnight. You know, there's a lot of influencers out there that can make just a little bit of noise about Bitcoin and move it in the opposite direction. Kevin O'Leary just did a flip on Bitcoin and bought in. You know what I saw? Jamie Dimon reported that he thinks that Bitcoin is worthless. So it's influencers that can move Bitcoin, folks, in one direction or another at any given time. You guys really do know that, right? It can, and that's why I don't actually feel that anybody's hedging with Bitcoin. It's still volatile from that perspective. Hell, if I was a big Jamie Dimon or something, and I went out on YouTube and said, hey, I think Bitcoin sucks. Watch Bitcoin. I don't pull that much weight, of course. But if I, and that's all it takes for Bitcoin to go down a lot of percent in one day. Thing is, interest rates have not gone up to end 2022 before the first rate will likely talk a moment of rise. I'm thinking that interest rates are not going up. And this is also my feedback, not until spring or summer of next year. I don't think interest rates go up until spring or summer of next year. All right. Anybody got questions on the earnings story? All right. Before I get into what you guys want to see in regards to your stocks, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. How many likes did we get today? 77. Only 77? Did you listen? I changed the format up a little bit. We're looking at less news and more analysis. And you guys only have just 77 likes? Really? All right, listen. All right, next week, I'm going to all stories, no stocks. Fine. That's what you want to tell me? I'm going to all news next week, no stocks. Yeah. Now, let me see where the likes at. The likes jumped up to 94. All right, I guess they still want to see more stocks. All right, I'm trying to make sure you guys were awake. About to say, if you didn't want to like I changed it up just a little bit today. If you didn't want to like it, fine. We'll go back to all news. We'll be like just a news station and just put just news up here. All right. So evidently you like the change, and that's good. I'm going to keep it this way. I like the idea of possibly a lot less news, but a lot more analysis and a lot more discussion on the stocks because you guys, I like your feedback. I like your feedback, whether you're on Facebook or whether you're on YouTube. I like your feedback. Snoopy says, I'm in Kinross and it just started to move up. I'm telling you, the gold stocks are something to keep your eyes on. They are something to keep your eyes on, but just be careful. That's all I got to say. Just be careful. All right? And keep your eye on UUP. Keep your eye on UUP. That's the upside of the dollar. When it goes down, that means that the dollar's going down. All right, the dollar's going down. All right. Are we ready, Joey? Yeah. I think we're ready. All right, let me empty out this watch list. You know what it's time for? Oh, you know what it's time for. Get them stocks up in there. Let's go analyze your stocks. And we're off. LCID, Samuel Adams, XLY, NVIDIA, let's see what's going on Facebook. Anybody on Facebook got some stocks for me? Chewy, CHWY, I'm looking HBAN, HBAN, J's got apps on Facebook. Apps. Anybody else on Facebook? I want you guys to chat in here. Come on now. What else is that? SCHW, Gush. I like that pick. UPS. Got you. DPST, TTT. The treasuries. That's a good looking play right there. Good looking look. Snow, Ampy, AMPY. Thank you, Snoops. Docs, DOCS. Who'd that come from? That came from somebody on Facebook. Lewis, thank you for that, Lewis. I appreciate that. What else did you put?
Did you put a HLI
UPSST. Say Drew. What did he say?
HLI earlier. He wanted HLI.
Was it HLT?
HLI.
Was it just HLI? Okay, HLI. CVGI, that's on Facebook as well. Prague, P-R-O-G. Let's see how many stocks that is. I'm going to look up to 20 stocks for you. See how many stocks I got. I got 19. One more stock, Verizon. There it is. I'll add Verizon. All right. These are my stocks we're going to look at today. If your stock that you typed in that I did not type up on, I want you to go to www.vectorvest.com/free. You can get a free stock analysis on any stock that you want. Rewalk. I did a video on Rewalk, Steve. Go check out our YouTube channel. I did a video on Rewalk. And Alex, I just did a video. Was BLDR one of those stocks that we did today? Oh, no. It's on a video that's coming out tomorrow. I did a fundamental video that's coming out tomorrow. Joey's putting it together. BLDR is on that list, Alex. Go check it out. It's going to be on tomorrow's 6 p.m. YouTube video. All right, so here's my 20 stocks that I'm going to look at today. The reason why I put them into a watch list now is so that you can see where your stock sits in the combination of value, safety, and timing. Digital Turbine is the #1 stock in the list by VST, with Chewy's at the bottom, the worst stock by VST. And everybody who gave me stocks, now you can see where your stocks fit. You can see where your stocks fit. So that's a good point in at least understanding overall in the VectorVest scheme of things, how good or how bad your stock is. So whoever gave me Chewy, that's a horrible stock. Who gave me Lucid, that's a terrible stock. Whoever gave me Prague, that's an atrocious. Listen, I'm only messing with you. All I'm telling you is by our analysis, these stocks are towards the bottom of the list. All right, so let's go take a look at their graphs. We're going to do this real quick. I'm going to put it on a 3-month graph, and I'm on a 3-month graph. I'm going to look at it more from an investment side. I'm going to put it on the swing. Wow, look at apps. Look at the 20-day exponential moving average. Longer term, I like the stock. Earnings per share looks good. I'm liking that. The earnings growth rate looks good. The company's selling and they're growing their sales. Apps is a great stock. A little bit of indecision today, but this is a really good-looking stock. Next one, HLI, same kind of scenario. Bottom left, top right, not a lot of volatility. Earnings looks good. Earnings growth looks good. They sell, and they're growing their sales. And they're a bank. Bank stocks, as I mentioned, are on the rise right now. And this is another one of those stocks that looks great. New high over the last 3 months, hit today. Gush, from an oil perspective, I like it as well as far as playing one ticker symbol to play the whole industry. Now, it is a 2-time leverage, so it goes up twice what oil actually does. Be careful with that if you're not used to that. It's sitting in a little bit of a channel now at a level of support sitting at 99.93 and a level of resistance at 115. It's in a little bit of a channel, but nonetheless above the 20-day exponential moving average. Next stock, NVIDIA, one of Dr. D's favorite stocks stocks that he's looking at right now. Patrick did an amazing interview with our founder, Dr. Bartolito. Dr. D likes this stock. So look at the earnings, look at the earnings growth. Sales growth has moved down a little bit, but sales are going up. I like the most recent move above the 20 exponential moving average. Volume has been steady. This is a stock to keep your eyes on. I got a level of resistance sitting at 230. That's a good price target, about $14 you can still make on the stock. Like the bounce off support now above the 20-day. Relative value above the value. The stock's got good upside, and it's a safe stock. There's nothing wrong about this stock. I like the rebound. This is a good play. Next stock, let's look at Schwab. Stock sitting in a little bit of a channel right now. Up day today. Like to see it take out this level of resistance of 78.94. Nicely above the 20-day exponential moving average. Volume is pretty steady. Earnings and earnings growth look good. Sales and sales growth look good as well. Next stock in the list. Wow, Upstart. That, you know what that looks like? Looks like an airplane taking off. That is a beautiful looking equity curve. Wow, bottom left, top right. Even when it fell below the 20, it did it for a very short amount of time. And look at this move. Nice new high today on good volume. Holy smokes, good. I need another holy smokes. You know what else I think about this stock? Listen to this. That's what I think about Upstart. Who gave me Upstart? I like that stock. I like that sound. High five, Joey. That was a good sound. All right. That's a beautiful looking equity curve. I'd go 12 cents higher than the high, but everything else about the stock looks good. What else? On DPST, direction on the financials. You know, if I'm going to play an ETF on the financials, I'd like FAS or FAZ. Personal opinion. That's my personal opinion. And it's a lot cheaper than 250. I like the move on it. A little bit of a hammer formation right here and follow through. I'd like to see it break above the level of 261.50. Now, because I said what I said about the ETF, I'm not downplaying this ETF. It's just expensive. And if I'm going to play the space, I'd rather play with an ETF, but possibly with a lower dollar ETF. All right, that's just me. All right, let's go to the next stock. Next stock, H-Band, retail, another bank. All right, Huntington Bank, banks on the, now this bank, with the exception of some of the other ones that we looked at today, has actually got a green candle. My other ones had a red candle, right? It is above the 20-day, and even when it pulled back, it stayed above the 20-day on the end-of-day basis. Watch earnings growth. The earnings is still there, but they're growing at a smaller rate. Just keep that in mind. It'll catch up. It'll catch up. All right, and watch the sales are starting to pull back a little bit as well. Be careful with this one. I think there's a couple of other banks that are out there. I do like, for nothing else, the bounce off support and that it's above the 20x exponential moving average. UPS, nice move coming out of a level of support. Volume is staying at relatively good. Nice open candle today, like that. Earnings looks good. Earnings growth looks good. This is a good early play. I've got a good, on a 3-month graph, I got a level of resistance or a level of profit at 214. You got some room on this stock. I like that. Not only did it gap up and have such a good open candle, it broke through a level of resistance at 188. Eric says, this channel is awesome. You are awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. How many likes did we get? We got some likes now. All right. Now, you know what else I need? If you're brand new to the channel, folks, subscribe to the channel. If you like what you see here and you're not a subscriber to the channel, subscribe to the channel. We do this every Thursday. Every Thursday. All right, let's go to the next stock. Wow, Sam Adams. You know, cyclically, I'm thinking that Sam Adams may pick up going into the Christmas season because they got the holiday lager stuff. So I'm thinking that this could be a cyclical play. I'm not ready to take it yet. Earnings is falling. Earnings growth is falling. I still think that it's still gonna have a run up during the holiday season. I'm just not really feeling it. And if I do pull the trigger on it, it would just be for a season. That would be the reason. All right, so let's go to the next stock. CVGI. I like the move coming up. It's trending higher. Let me make that a little darker so you can see it. It is trending higher. Oh, you know what else I see? Anybody know what that pattern is called? Type it in the room. Anybody know what that technical pattern is called? Type it in the room. I'm curious. Go ahead. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds. Whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube, what is that pattern that I just drew? Type it in the room. It is a it's a graph pattern that everybody out there should know about. Type it in the room. Descending triangle I could take. That's not what I wanted to hear, but I could take a descending triangle. Ascending triangle. Nope, still not. What am I looking for? One person put it in the room. Steve put it in the room. It's a wedge. It's a consolidation pattern. Now, what should happen is it's got to break out of this wedge one direction or the other. It's got to break out of the wedge one direction or the other. And which way it breaks out tends to be the ongoing direction of the stock. So I like the consolidation. I like that it's for the most part staying above the 20-day expansion moving average, but I'm looking at the wedge. I'm looking at the wedge or symmetrical triangle. All right? All right. You guys want to get all technical. Listen, it's a wedge. All right? Everybody else is telling me everything else. It's a wedge. But I'll take all of that other stuff with it. Listen, I'm having a little fun. You can have some fun too. Having a little fun. All right, let's go to wow. Oh, so we know what went on with AMPI. When we had the oil spill in California, AMPI felt it. AMPI is trying to rebound. And before I even think that it's trying to rebound, from a graph perspective, it needs to get above the 20-day exponential moving average. I do like the earnings per share and earnings growth. So prior to the oil spill, the company is solid. Our relative value is at 1.51. The safety is not all that great, but the stock's got good upside potential. It got affected adversely by the oil spill. Now, before I can say that this company is back on the mend, I needed to get back above the 20-day exponential moving average. Who gave me AMPI? Who gave me AMPI? And does what I just said make sense? Before I can consider this stock on the rebound, I need for the stock's price to go and close above the 20-day exponential moving average on an end-of-day basis. Does that make sense to everybody out there? Yes or no? The stock is solid from a fundamental standpoint, not from the safety standpoint, but from the upside potential, it's great. I need the stock to go back above that 20-day exponential moving average before I'm ready to pull the trigger. Does that make sense to you guys? All right, who gave me that? Snoopy, you gave me, I don't know what stock I wanted now. You guys, it's a delay. It's my fault. I don't know which stock it was. VV Nation, Glenn is in the house. Who just said that? Stocks and ladders. Way to go, stocks and ladders. I got you. I own it at 310. All right, I got you. So if I'm in the stock right now, I got a nice, especially if I bought the dip. But if you're not in it, I like the stock long term. I'd like to see the stock break above that 20-day exponential moving average. That's what I want. That's what I want. With that, I got good upside to this level of the high, which is sitting at the value of 578. The stock's got good upside. All right, let's go to the next stock. SLY, small cap. I'd rather play either a different ETF. This stock over the last 3 months is straight up consolidating. It's not really going. All right, if I'm going to play a small cap, I'd look at a different ETF that's moving. All right, that's my opinion just looking at the graph, okay? Woo, Verizon. What's driving this? Is this news driven? Is this earnings? Nope. Earnings is coming up soon, though. Something drove the stock's price down that it's rebounding. I do like the earnings and the earnings growth. It's got good upside potential. It's a little bit more risky, but it's got good upside potential. It's not in an uptrend right now. RT's telling me not in an uptrend, but I like the bounce. I like the bounce on good volume. Can I get into it now? Yes, that'd be an aggressive move. If I'm looking for more confirmation, let's wait till it gets above the 20-day exponential moving average. But I like the move on good volume. I could play it aggressively early, but if I want more confirmation, wait for the 20-day. All right, next one. TTT, the yields. All right, I need, that's the downside. So this is contra. That means yields should be going up. If this is the ETF shorts, that means that yields should be going up. All right, am I right or wrong? If I'm looking at this, this is to the short side. Yield should be going up because this is going down. All right, so TNVZ sunk yesterday. I don't know what was going on. If that was 2 5G stocks, I don't know what happened to the 5G space, Lou. I'm not sure. If TZ and if TNVZ both dropped yesterday. All right, so if I'm looking at this contra, that tells me that yields are rising. And that means if that continues, people are going to start pulling their money out of the market. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Snow, relatively new stock. Earnings and earnings growth is going. New high today, but look at that big wick at the top. That's a little bit of profit taking, I think, on this. It's a $300 stock. I don't know if that was news driven, but that's a big sell-off. The bears are really pushing the stock's price down. All right, just be careful with that. I like the bottom left to top right, but today the bears are pushing that stock's price down. Docs, downtrend. I can see that before that's a downtrend. If I connect the highs, even by ways of the wicks, that's a down trading, that's a downside stock. I'm not feeling that. Even though the stock is right at the 20-day, it's still below it, and it's in a downtrend. I'm not feeling docs right now. Earnings and earnings growth is great. I like that. But this is one of those times, maybe fundamentally not sound right now either. Look at both RV and RS are below 1. Be careful with that stock if you own it. Next stock, Progenity, drug biomedical, little choppiness in it, so a little bit more of volatility. Even though it's still above the 20-day, I like it. On good volume, I like it. Just be careful with it. Let's get past this level of resistance that's up here, but a lot of jagosity, a lot of volatility. If you're not into volatile stocks, you might not want to touch this one right now. Next stock, Lucid. I like the move with today's activity bouncing above that level of the 20-day exponential moving average. Now, I do have a profit target sitting at the value of that level of resistance at 23.30. Currently, it's at 28.30. I got about $5 move that I can make on the stock. I do like the move. This wasn't an earnings play. Could be some news, but I like the big candle above the 20-day. On an end-of-day graph, I like the move up into that level of resistance. The last stock in the list is Chewy, and now you see why it's the last stock on the list. The stock is going down after the high, below the 20-day. I got nothing going on. Now, I like the earnings and the earnings per share. The stock's got to show me something. Now, this stock reminds me of Janet Jackson. What have you done for me lately? Ooh, yeah. All right. With that, folks, it's been my pleasure to be here today. We had a lot of fun today. A lot less news and a lot more analysis. And it looks like from the likes that you like that. And I think I'm going to do that going forward. A lot of stocks to look at. Remember, we track over 9,000 stocks. We look at over 9,000 stocks. I can't put all those stocks out there for you. All right, but I will hone in on the ones that I think you need to know about. Whether you're in them or not, stocks to consider getting in. If you haven't already, folks, please subscribe to the channel. I do this stuff for you every week because I love doing it. And I want you guys to grow your portfolios. You know what we do here? We do the work. You reap the rewards. That's what we do. So if you just come hang out with me for an hour and a half on a daily, on a monthly, on a weekly basis, come on by. Share the link to this live stream with the people in your social circle. Get more people that you know invested around what you do. All right? You want to always try to align yourself with like-minded people. If you're investing in the market, you should be aligning yourself with other people who invest in the market. Invite them to come over to watch the channel as well. All right? If you haven't already, hit the like button. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. If you haven't already, just have a great day. All right? And I'm going to help you every week to try to grow your portfolios. All my people on Facebook, thank you so much for being here. And of course, to all my people here live on YouTube, thank you for being here. Support our channel. Support our VectorVest channel on YouTube. Every week or every day we put out a video. We talk about a lot of stocks that are out there. You saw today I did a midday parlay on some stocks. If you haven't already watched the video, go support the channel. All right? With that, folks, thank you, Joey, for being awesome like you always are.
No problem, no problem.
All right, and this video is over. Adios, arrivederci, ciao, au revoir, sayonara, aloha to all my peeps in Hawaii. Salam, shalom, namaste, yasu. Until the next time, folks, see ya.